Hello and welcome to the Troyiverse, episode 11. So it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Even though there is no snow on the ground as of right now. For the first time in a long time for me, I want to say that I'm in the holiday spirit. As a youth, as a youth, I never really was into holidays. It always seemed monotonous to me, if you will. Yeah, basically stemming from the origin story of where I came from of being like 8 and having one of my Virgo cousins tell me that my mother didn't want to or didn't believe in me, believe that I was going to go to college. So I torpedoed my academic career as a young age, but in torpedoing my academic career, I learned a lot of street smarts. However, digressing. So holidays was never really a big thing for me. Like even like I said, when we when I got stuff, it's the we. When I got stuff, it was if it was something for joy for me to enjoy, it wasn't a singly me present. It was a we present. It was for me and my cousins. I really didn't start actually getting my own things like just for me. I think the one of the biggest gifts that I got from my family that was solely for myself was like one of the last uh big screen TVs, like the tube ones, like that. It wasn't a flat like most people when they think of like big screens, they think about flat screen or projectors and stuff like that now because everybody's just more accustomed to it. But everybody that's in like the 30s and 40s and up can remember like the big TV screens. Like, and I'm talking about like those that's in their like upper 40s, 50s, and 60s that like talk about the big TV that was on the floor that was like basically a cabinet with wood grain around the screen and stuff like that. You could put like your trophies and knickknacks and stuff like that on there. Now, granted, we did have that TV as well growing up. That was an amazing TV. We actually used that TV to stack up another TV on top of that TV with that TV fricks. But whatever. Yeah, it was like the large screen, big boy, big back, like huge tube television. Um, like a 52 inch. Ironically enough, it was one of those. It was right when the flat screens was actually starting to become prevalent, and everybody was actually trying to get them and stuff like that. But because the new hotness was out, they changed the format. So those big screen, like big boob TVs or like big boob tube TVs, was going for like originally like 100 to like 175, and then when the flat screens started coming out, they started just like going down in price instantly. I think it was like $55, something like that, for like a 52 inch or something like that. So that was what they got me. They got me one of those big 52 inches, something like that, and I cherished that TV. I loved it until I was able to, buy my own flat screen, and because by that time, when they did give me that, I was old enough to like start movie. Well, not was on. Honestly, I was like 17, 18, around that time. I think I was like 17, 18 around that time. So I was like able to move. So by the time I actually was moving, which was like a year or two later, or like that, to my own like my own room. Uh, my friend of mine at the time had, well, acquaintance of mine had a place of his own, and I was looking to venture out of my family home and you know be on my own basically. So kind of like I was hoping for kind of like a Joey and Chandler situation type thing. Um, it kind of was honestly, but I'll get to that point. I'll get to that later. But um, uh, the holidays this year seems off, but I it doesn't seem off because of a bad thing. It seems off because it feels like I'm actually for the first time in a long time, like getting excited for what's to come. And I'm still like I'm still like I'm perpetually in a state of gratefulness and gratitude. And even with the things that are coming into the wind of that I'm not even talking about, like I'm super excited and like just grateful for the opportunity that has presented itself. I know that I win. I know that regardless of what the outcome's going to be, I'm going to be happy. Because it, even though at the time it seemed like every door, window, access point was closed and shut, it feels like I have a way in again. And with everything that I'm doing between my school and elevating myself and enlightening myself and with the podcast and doing my shadow work and really like fine tooth combing through like the history of who I am from my perspective and then taking the knowledge that I have through my degree of my earn me earning my degree and the science of psychology for a bachelor's degree and using that to better understand the things that I was going through as a youth and adolescence and teenage and 20s and till this day. It's been very therapeutic. It's been very like rewarding, honestly. Um, even with the whole thing of starting um having my spirituality become a church, which I will touch on that, of course. Man, like I'll briefly jump on that real fast. Like when it comes down to it, I am completely honestly serious about that. Like I am definitely making my spirituality into a church, so that I can fellowship with those who want to fellowship with me. It's all same on the line. It's all on the line, alignment with the same thing I was saying before about finding my soul tribe and my soul family, my found family, um, and us just basically just being quote unquote misfit toys together, if you will. But understanding that even though society try to say that we're broken, that we don't need to be fixed, like we're just here, we exist, and we are happy with our existence, and more so, we're happy with being alone. However, only reason we're happy with being alone because we had to deal with so many quote unquote neurotypical people who are realistically are, in my opinion, the highest level of neurodivergence, if you will, because my take on it is if every single individual is a unique individual and neurodivergent people are allowing themselves to be authentically themselves, be free, be however they want to be, is interesting to me that you have a whole group of individuals who want to call them or have themselves labeled neurotypical individuals, but they all mask so that they can mimic an idea of a perception of a societal norm that everybody else just agreed to centuries before we was even born. Like the whole concept and traditions of Christmas, of New Year's, of Halloween, and yada yada yada, they all came from other concepts of different traditions, like winter solstice, and the Christianities took winter solstice and combined it with Christianity, and then made it a separate thing, even though they said Jesus was supposed to be born um, during Christmas time. However, Christmas isn't evolved around Christianity. However, Christianity like basically co-opted to say it was, even though the winter solstice comes from like other traditions and stuff like that. It, people try to say it started with the Nordic traditions, but really it started in other places. But regardless, do your own research. Even with Halloween, like that was a Wiccan tradition of the veil weakening and allowing the other supernatural creatures that we know for a fact are real. Like the CIA actually have like notes on cryptics and like different strange humanoid or non-humanoid factors. Like they have like documents about UFOs on. They don't call them UFOs anymore. I forgot what they call them now, but they have documents of like extraterrestrial devices and vehicles flying from space to our atmosphere to the oceans and not having a a technology that we as humanity are able to understand yet. Like we're trying to, like some of the governments are getting close to, but they have no real understanding of how to, let's just say this, the concepts effects of intergalactic travel is not yet a viable source for humanity to endeavor into yet. How close or how not close we are to that, that's yet to be determined because there's a lot of top secret stuff going on. However, we do know that thanks to so many different presidents, we do know that they are a space faring and faring uh, expedition that they want to endeavor in. The space race was not just something that started and ended during the Cold War. It is still something ongoing. I mean, realistically, there is a you can do your own research on this, but there is a location where all the government have scientists and aerodynamic like engineers and physicists and stuff like that all working together for the highest possible good of humanity. Well, let's just be real, the rich, wealthy humanity, so that they can be the first ones to go out into outer space. It was actually funny. Um, I was listening to some of my old recordings that I had back in like 2015 and up to like recently, and it was funny because I remember talking to one of my ex partners. It was she said that those in power. She said in her own words and stuff like that. But like she's like those in power are trying to leave us on this planet and go in outer space. And her reply after that was like, "And we're not going to let them." And it was so funny. It was the funniest thing ever. But but yeah, like I do believe that, and I do agree. I did agree with her. I still do agree with her. Past tense. But yeah, it was great. It was just funny. It was something that we both agreed on, that we allowed our freak flags to fly, and the sense of just allowing the quiet parts that we don't usually say to in the public because there's so many neurotypical people that are masking that want to, you know, put their opinions on what you're thinking. Like case in point being the thing of being like, if I'm choosing to say like, okay, I want to get hypothetically, you know, like we all know about iPhones and like Android stuff like that. If I was decided like I want to get one of those MX14 new phones that's like only out in like Europe or something like that, and they like, well, I wouldn't get that because I don't know anything about it. Okay, well that's why you got what you phone that you wanted. I'm getting the phone I wanted. Thank you for telling me feedback that I didn't ask for, but people have this tendency of just when you say something and when you want to share something that you have to say, then they want to be like, well, that's not what I would. Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair that you're not doing it. That's why you're you and I'm me. Just like a lot of people have talked about how they are annoyed with taxes and stuff like that, but I chose to say, all right, well, let me look up how I can not pay taxes. And one of the one things I know for a fact of how you don't pay taxes in America is building a church. I mean, you could be a tax evader, but as much as I appreciate and admire Wesley Snipes for a lot of different reasons, tax evasion is not one of the ones that I want to walk in his footsteps with. Like, I damn sure don't mind wearing a whole bunch of black leather and having my swords and out and being a fake blade. Like, that's cool. Uh, any vampires out there, hit me up. Just, I'm not saying I want to be turned. I'm just saying I would love to have a conversation with y'all and see where things go. That's all I'm saying. But with like real recognize real. When it comes down to like my spirituality and the church and stuff like that, like everything I said in the previous thing still applies and it's not going to change. Like I am building something that represents me and what I align with spiritually. And what I align with spiritually is the phoenix. And for me, the spirit and the existence of the phoenix is the totality of everything that we see on this light spectrum because everything is created from the molecules of the Big Bang and the molecules from Big Bang is created from the phoenix. So everything is one, everything is unity, and until we actually really allow ourselves to sit in that reality and that concept of that understanding of being like, if everything in the world is connected, why am I still trying to say that I as the ego is separate from everything that I'm connected to and I'm connected with? If my molecules can touch other molecules that's in this simulation, in this worldview, in this reality, then I am also a part of this reality. I'm constructed and created from the same molecules and same stardust and the same atoms, electrons, neutrons, protons, and stuff like that that creates everything else. We have air molecules that's created from the same things that we're created out of. However, different tweaks to it now makes the air heavier. It makes it denser, it makes it lighter, it makes it sweeter, it makes it sour, it makes it whatever. Make it toxic to breathe in, make it non toxic to breathe in. Like it's all the same thing. So if I'm a part of this magical, beautiful existence called reality, then what am I able to control and manipulate? And of course, we get into a whole concept of understanding of saying, yeah, when you master and control your emotions, you can master and control yourself. And then if you can master and control yourself, then you can master and control the world around you. If you can master and control the world around you, then what's stopping you from just having full scope, panoramic view, 360 frame of everything that makes you you into exactly how you want to be or how you exactly wanted to see your end game self. And the funny thing is, the beautiful thing is, for the concept of humanity and for the concept of just being an individual human, we evolve every single time we do something. Like every chemical reaction that we are introduced to, we evolve either for the betterment or a detriment. Like you could go and get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to take allicane powder, a little portions, because allicane powder is poison. So I'm going to take a little bit by bit, just so my body can become acclimated to it. So if I do take a proper dose that could kill a human, I'll be fine. Thank you, Princess Bride. Like that's what I mean. And regardless of anything, yeah, if you take that, like you shouldn't do that. Like that is literally should not be a thing that you should do. However, if that is something that you feel though that you want to do, who am I to tell you not to do it? I know that once again, like I just said that people be doing, I wouldn't do that. But that's the point. It's all our own journey. So when it comes down to it, Like, do you have fun? All I'm asking is, and all I'm decreeing in my spirituality and my church is, do it with kindness. If we understand that we are all one and we can see and we can align with that with me, then that's it. Anything else that I'm saying, you don't gotta align with nothing. Nothing else. But if you could align with the fact that we are all one with this universe and we are all just reflections of ourselves, then everything else pretty much is a moot point because all it comes down to now is going to every single religion and spirituality that has stated the same golden rule or non-religion has stated the golden rule. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, understand, and I understand because I've met so many different people. A lot of different people don't like themselves. So the next step going to that is treat people with kindness and treat people the way you want to be treated, but understand that you also have to do your own healing in your own way if you choose to. But I don't want to have a decree where it's a thing where I'm like, yeah, everybody come on in, but I still am okay with you hurting and accosting and being a piece of shit to other people. No. Now, of course, everybody in their own time, in their own way, heal in their own way, in their own space. However, just because you're healing, it doesn't give you the carte blanche to be a horrible piece of shit to somebody else. Because you know, we know, I know, everyone understands this. No one wants to be treated like a piece of shit. If they're trying to help you, if they're trying to, like just trying to give you space or whatever, if they're just trying to like be next to you or near you, no one wants to be treated like shit. No one wants to open up and be like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm X, Y, and Z," and they were like, "Well, I don't give a fuck because this is my life and fuck you and blah 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 blah. And I want you to respect me and I don't give a fuck about you though because blah 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 blah." Like nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. That's why honestly, when it comes to individual, I literally come like I said before. I literally come to the point. I'm just saying like everybody starts with 100 with me. Everybody starts with 100. I see you. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know you. I don't know your story, but I want to learn. And then it comes to a point of me learning who they are, stuff like that. I'll be like, all right, cool. I like, X, Y, and Z about you, but I don't vibe with, I don't align with, the JQX part. I don't align with that. But I'm not telling you you got to stop. But I'm telling you not to do it. I'm just saying that's just not where I'm comfortable being. So I want to be over here, but if you do the other stuff that we enjoy, if we do play D&D, if you watch Doctor Who, if you enjoy comic books, if you enjoy yada yada yada, like or tabletop RPG, because I don't want to just blankly say D&D and because I do play Pathfinder. I do have the Rick and Morty book where I actually do want to play the Rick and Morty tabletop RPG. I do want to play other my one of my close friends who I played D&D with for years. Um, when I was in the Seattle area, he created his own game. I will plug his game. Um, honestly, the next week because this is week 4. Um, but I will plug his game next week coming into New Year's. So 2026. Because I want to talk to him first because I do want to plug his game. I want him to understand that I want to support him because I do support him because his game actually rocks. We played it. I played like 2 sessions with him. Um, regrettably, he sent me a new book, his new book for it, and I haven't had the chance to read it because I've been doing so much stuff lately, and I apologize for that. But I want to talk to him first to find out how he feels about me sharing his stuff on the podcast. Uh, just because I just want to make sure, once again, consent is key. Consent is key, and consent is like where I stand on everything. Like so, I don't want to step on anybody's toes and be like, oh yeah, let me put their stuff out there, and they be like, wait, like I don't feel comfortable with you putting my stuff out there, or I don't feel comfortable you putting my stuff on your podcast or like that. So I want to talk to them first and find out. But yeah, so that's what it comes down to. Like, just I'm not saying I want my flock to go out there and be like missionaries and get Samaritans and stuff like that. We'll get to that point if we get to that point, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is just be kind. Like, if you know what it, you know how I started to fall into this concept of this behavior. It was to a point where when I was fast forward real fast, I was driving for Uber and Lyft and in Seattle. Loved it. It was amazing. It was so much fun doing that. I met so many cool people. We talked about so many cool, interesting subjects and topics and stuff like that. But when people got in my car, it didn't matter what who they were, what race they were, what age they were, what have you. When people stepped in my car, I treated people like they were my family. But this was before the obvious like concept of me realizing who my blood family actually is. This is the totality of how I treat family. Period. The blood family or found family is just with love and with concern and with care. So when you set foot in my car and like plant yourself in one of my seats for a trip, I drive you around the same way I would drive around my daughter. I'm not going to speed. I'm not going to rush. I will fit in where I get in, and I will get in where I fit in. However, I'm not rushing and I'm not driving erratically because I feel as though my daughter, when she's driving with me or riding with me, is the most precious cargo that I can transport to A to B. So in that regard, I basically I started to see, in a regards, everyone kind of like either like my daughter or like my mother or like a sister or a brother or a family member or a cousin or just somebody that I care about distinctly because I know point blank period for me and my ego. If I'm driving, I'm always going to make sure regardless, before my daughter was ever born or whatever like that, I want to make sure that if I'm ever in an accident or if anything ever happens, I'm always going to be safe. Like I'm going to be okay. Like I'm going to like I see all the spots, I see all the things, I see all the corners. Like even when I was actually in a car accident. It was so wild. I digress. I'm going back to the other story in a second and in my spirituality in a second. But I was delivering a piece of polyagies, and I just delivered a piece. It was so sweet because the family I delivered to, like the family just found out that one of the son's girlfriends that he was engaged to was they was pregnant, and they just broke the news to his parents, and everybody was excited. And I delivered the pizza at the same time that they was like like they just delivered the news, and everybody was like in shock and all surprised, and they was like, oh, we got the pizzas here. They was like, we're pregnant. I was like, oh my god, congratulations, that's amazing. It was a great moment. It was a great. It was. I was there for like less than 5 minutes, and it was so charged with so much beautiful energy of just like excitement and just like just looking forward to the future. And it was beautiful. And I got back in the car, and it was so funny because after I got in the car, I um went to go like call my partner that I had at the time, and I'm looking both ways, and it was a stop sign that we I was sitting at, and I was about to go through the stop sign, and the other stop sign was right there, and the lady just blew through the stop sign. She blew through the stop sign. She just straight blew through her stop sign, and like rammed straight into the driver's side of me, my driver's side door, and like it was crazy. It was crazy. Um, like I hopped out, she hopped out. I was like, "Are you okay?" Like you didn't see the stop sign. And he's like, I live here all my life. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not the question I asked. You okay? And he's like, oh, I'll be okay. I'm like, all right, I gotta. That's just strange information. I gotta go back to work though, because I'm 1 o'clock. And so, strange information. Like, got back to the it's so funny. This is why I'm like, and I'm gonna go. I want to segue this into a story about me being eight late in a second. But like, I literally get. I was in a car accident. My car door, driver's side doors, like pushed in. Basically, I can still open to close my door. Ironically enough, though, but I can like, but it was pushed in. I literally I hopped out after the accident. I was fine. I went back to work, and I was like, "Hey, so I was just in a car accident." And they went outside. I was like, "What do you mean it's a car accident?" They looked at my car. They was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm cool. Like the car's still dry. Like if what's the next order?" He's like, "No, go home, go home. Like you was just in a car accident." I was like, "I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm okay." And I was. It was like honestly, I was totally fine. But yeah, like my thing is. I, Sorry to get to, like the that tangent. It was just a funny tangent of just that popped out of nowhere. But um, when I think about like being in good spirit and being in good levity, that's what I think of. So instead of thinking about the car accident part, I think about because the car accident happened. It wasn't my fault. It was something that was dealt with. I actually got the insurance policy. Yeah, put the claim in, got the money back from it. Even got a whole new car after that. But yeah, it was just like when I think about that memory, I think about when I was delivered the pizza to the family, and they was just so happy about their new pregnancy and the family, like a new addition to the family, and it was just it was a beautiful thing. It was just beautiful. That's a so when I say I'm in a state of gratitude, or I'm saying I'm in a state of just always perpetually seeing the bright side of stuff, that's always been a background note, but in the past, recent couple of years, it's started becoming more prevalent again. Like I had my moments where it was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm dark. I'm the crow. I'm, I'm angel. I'm broody. But like, I could have those episodes where it's like smile time, and I'm a puppet, and I'm full of felt, but I'm cuddly, and I'm a bear. But it's the church is a safe haven for all the people that I started to notice that just felt lost, just felt alone. Um, and it was something I was like, I know I'm comfortable being alone. And that was always such a weird thing for me to say because I always fought against it because society tells you that we as people should engage with other people and should engage with like a community. And like I I get it to a certain extent. Like I get it, but because of how I was my upbringing and I guess because of my cognitive disassociation, if you will, since like a young age, since like a child, like I'm at a point where I don't really I enjoy my solitude. Like I'm if the epitome of any character I've ever seen in recent media has like had me looking in the mirror and being like, wow, that's me. Like, wow. It would honestly be Nicolas Cage's character from Pig. Like he he was a man who was a chef. Highly recommend that movie. Honestly, I can't highly recommend a movie enough. Like that movie, like it's such a slow, quiet movie, but it's so powerful. Like honestly, I can't stop raving over like that movie and honestly, uh, the Five Nights at Freddy ripoff movie that Nicolas Cage did. I swear I do want to hang out with Nick Cage. Like I do. At first, I would like for years in my 20s, I would act like I didn't. I would act like I didn't like him. But like it was just me being a hater because I was around a lot of haterades, and I drank some haterade, and I was just hating on a lot of people for no reason because that was the environment I was in, and I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna hate no more. Like it's silly to hate. Like he's doing this thing. I enjoy it, but oh yeah, I he's a legend. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm building this. If you build it, they will come type thing. Like I'm really am trying to not trying. I am going to build this church and get this land and create this like space that we can just be together, just like be ourselves and be away from these over exaggerated neurotypical individuals that think they're normal that I just is like they're wearing the biggest mask or persona ever. Because I mean that's all personality is. It comes from the Latin word persona, which means a mask. Which means personality is just a mask that we put on this human facade that we think is adults because realistically we're just playing a role of adults that we were given by the perpetuators of our parents who perpetuated the same roles that they got from their parents. Like everybody's not trying to grow old and wear a suit and work at our office. Like that's not life. I never assumed life was supposed to be like that. Like we're not. I mean, let's be real. We shouldn't be in these type of concrete structures as homes. Like we should technically live in like tree houses and stuff like that and living off the land. Like which is so simple. Like it's so like you can every the land provides, the world provides. Like and then some weirdo decided to say, no, I want to make something that's completely foreign from nature and have us cooped up in that gives us cancer and all this other stuff and diseases and fucking asbestos. We had asbestos in our walls and getting sick from that. Like you didn't need all that. Just get some wood and some mud and some shit. Like you could have made concrete. You could make concrete. I don't care if you make concrete. Make concrete. But like use like natural products. Like yeah, I mean like it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. I'm not saying that like I'm right. I'm just saying this aligns with me. But yeah, I want to have a area in multiple places where I can just be comfortable being myself, and those around me are comfortable being themselves, and that's it. And we don't need any neurotypical people coming around saying, "Well, I wouldn't do that. No, mom, taxes." Like, I'm good. I'm good. You keep that over there. You do what you want to do over there. We're gonna do what we want to do over here. And as long as there's no weird energy, no like forceful energy, no manipulating energy, no black hole energy. And don't get me wrong, you could be a black hole and then choose to want to evolve out of that state stasis and be something more three, four, five dimensional. But yeah, if you're just going to be one singularity of just self, then you're you're not gonna you're not gonna feel comfortable around us. That's just what it is. Because the comfort that we have, the comfort that we give, the comfort we share with each other, is the comfort of support and supporting each other, paying it forward for each other. Make if you see a kitten in the tree, you help the kitten out the tree, not because of the fact that you have somebody with a TikTok or a video recording you saying, "Oh, look at you being a good Samaritan," but you just do it for the fucking doing it. You do it because it's the right thing to do. You saved a kitten. And I want to say there was a lot of triggers in my youth that always been paramount for me to doing stuff like that. Like, case in point, one of the first times I realized how strong I was when I was like in second grade. Now, forgive me, I can't remember if this happened before or after I was stabbed. If you recall, if anybody recall from the first episode, I was stabbed in the hand by my third girlfriend that I ever had. She was an ex at the time. She was an ex at the time, but if you haven't listened to that, welcome in, and definitely feel free to go back to the first episode and listen to that story. But I can't remember if it was before or after I got stabbed with a pencil in my hand, and the pin and the point got broken off. But that same year, it was something that happened during lunch. Actually, it was so funny because I don't think about this ever, honestly. And it wasn't until last night actually where it just popped in my head, and I was thinking about it. Where it was a one of my peers. I can't remember if it was a classmate or not, but it was definitely one of my peers. It was somebody that was in this. It was he was in the same school, and he was in the same lunchroom as me. Um, he was accosting a, another peer, a girl classmate or peer in the lunchroom, and I can't remember what triggered me or what it was exactly at the time. Now I can honestly say it was because of the fact that, like, if somebody say no, stop. If somebody like tell you I'm not like no, like I'm no is a complete sentence. If they tell you stop and no, like stop and don't do that. And but I didn't know the words to eloquently say that as a child, as a youth. So like all I remember though was I got up because they were standing like behind me like that, like, and he was standing behind me and she was sitting down, and I got up and I grabbed him by his shirt and I lifted him up off the ground, and then I walked 2 steps towards the wall and I put him on the wall, and it wasn't all I could remember after, like, even when I was saying like she said stop, leave her alone. All I kept thinking about in my head was, wow, he's really light. He's really like I was holding him by his shirt with one hand off the ground and walked him to the wall, and I was just like, wow, he's really light. It was like the first thought I had. What like my said to him was like, she said stop, leave her alone. Of course, little did I know when I was having those thoughts. So wow, he's so light. Did I? Because I wasn't aware of my you know perspective, and my perception wasn't where it's at now. I did not realize that the whole lunchroom was watching us and seeing me lift him up and walk him to the wall and tell him to leave her alone. So of course that put an instant target on my back because if it's the Goku thing. Boys really do have a Goku like mentality. It's like, oh, he's strong. Well, how strong is he? I'm stronger than him. Let me go prove it to see how strong he is. Yeah, yeah. So I had a target on my back. So I got into a lot of fights, and like I said before, it wasn't that hard to trigger me or provoke me because all they had to do, which is literally the epitome of what kids do is make fun of your mom or make fun of my mom. And that's all it took. And the fact of the matter is, since I was already broken to the point of saying like, "Oh, my mom doesn't believe in me," my wherewithal was okay. If I fight for her honor and I let her know I'm fighting for her honor, then she'll care about me and she'll know that she can like support me in my academic career because I'm fighting for her and I hope she'll start fighting for me. Little did I know, of course not, that wasn't the case because that was not me transparently saying that. That was me reacting to another stimuli that was being aggravated. That was, I'm sorry, not being aggravated. That was aggravating something else that was the core of my trigger. So it was pretty much a slippery slope. However, I was like 8, 9. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was like 8, 9, 10. Like, it went from like me just constantly, it was, like, I'm not trying to say the line, but I am going to say a line. Like, I had to fight all my life. But it was a thing where I was fighting myself because I didn't have the words to articulate what I was fighting for. So throughout the you know years of getting to try to in my own head protect my mom's honor and in regards like try to hopefully in my concept of a child believe that I can gain some type of recognition or some type of love or some type of concern that they could be like, okay, like let's let's figure out what's going on with Troy. Like maybe this is a cry for help. Instead of it being like, oh no, if you want to cry for help, I'll give him a reason to cry. But that was the journey I was on with my family, and now I get the cathartic release of expressing these things in this podcast and releasing them honestly. But because everything weaves and stuff like that, there is going to be some type of redistributing of certain stories. But as said last week on episode 10, I was going to get into the liquor story. So, which is going to be a great segue. So as a youth, and that in this time frame, it was a point of um, I just wanted to help, and because I was going to church, I would listen to the pastor talk about scripture and yada 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 and about Jesus and but at the same time I was reading the Bible or the Bible. I'm still gonna call it the Bible. I respect it, but I'm still gonna call it the Bible. Um, so I was like, so while reading the Bible, I was still reading Edgar Allan Poe, and I was still reading like Telltale Hearts and The Raven, while also reading Deuteronomy and Revelations and Genesis. So I had like, and with my imaginative mind, um, like I keep saying, I do believe I am neurodivergent with autism, with functioning autism. I like I said, I believe everybody is on the spectrum of that case. Um, the more and more, and undiagnosed, of course, because I haven't gone to the doctor to be diagnosed with this. But like I said, looking and perusing TikTok and seeing all the different people that have been diagnosed with either neurodivergent and or autism, there's a lot of stuff that we got in common where I'm just like, yo, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's always made a lot of sense to me. And now it makes even more sense to know that in this grand scheme of classifications that apparently everyone loves to do, Like that is a group that I can say, okay, I will be comfortable over there. So with that being stated, my whole concept and my thought process, reading all these different type of things and yada yada yada, was okay. I don't want to go to hell because there's a guy that has horns and you know pitchfork because yeah, I was still watching TV and movies and horror movies and stuff like that, and devil did pop up, occasionally and stuff. So I'm like, evil guy with horns that's going to take me to hell and torture me if I do evil, horrible things. So let's not do evil, horrible things. So I don't have to worry about a raven saying nevermore because I'm in regret of a lost love, or also hearing a gosh darn heartbeat underneath my floorboards by the telltale heart. So let me just do good things because I don't want to be tortured in my life by doing something negative, as well as I don't want to be tortured in hell because I did something negative in life. So let me just also help because that's what I'm here for. I am here to help. So let me help. So in this vein of me thinking, let me just do good stuff. Let me yada yada yada. The Bible saying drinking is wrong, smoking is wrong, fornication is wrong. All this stuff is wrong. Everything that we do, if it's not breathing and praying, is wrong. So hearing this, and I'm just like, okay, that's all right. I guess I can't do nothing but just be a servant and yada yada yada. But if I can help, if I can do certain things that the people in my life were complaining about, which so many women in my family and was so much complaining. I'll I'll digress into that later. But one of the things that they the women complained about a lot because the men were usually gone. The men were usually gone out the house, and the women be in there just complaining about stuff. Um, that's how I became a good listener. Like I said in episode 5, I would just sit there and just listen because no one talked to me, so I would just sit there and listen. And unless they talk to me first, speak, don't speak unless spoken to type, yada yada yada, then I would just be a fly on the wall, and I would just listen to them. And so one of the things that my grandma and my mom and you know few others, I'm not going to say anybody really like. I'm not going to pick all the names I would like. Let's just keep it to my grandma and my mom right now. Like they used to complain about my grandpa drinking like all the time. He used to have Seagrams with vodka. Like I told you before, the first beer that I had was Budweiser, and that was because my grandfather gave me beer at when I was 8. So I really did have a lot of pivotal stuff happen at 8. But anyway, 8 and 16. Um, I can't remember 32 that well. I'll get to that in a second. But um yeah, I in that vein, I was the fly on the wall and I was thinking, okay, I know where all the bodies are buried basically. I know where all the bottles are at. I know where all the liquor is in the house. I don't I was a kid, I didn't drink liquor, but I was fly on the wall. Everybody moved around me like I didn't exist in the house. Unless until they wanted to yell at me or make me do something. Um, have me do something. Um, so I took it upon myself as a child, believing that I was, helping, and I went and I poured out, half of the vodka from the bottle. As a current drinker of alcohol, wine mostly. I just drink wine and water. I'm like Tyrion Tyrion Lannister. Like I drink and know stuff. But as somebody who enjoys wine, and I used to say when I was in my 20s, my friends, acquaintances, and myself used to say like my blood was vodka at one point. I didn't bleed blood like you normal people do. I would bleed vodka. But um yeah, like I as an adult, I it was actually another funny thing. One of the uncle the Virgo uncle that I have, he went to pick me up from one of my friends' house one day, and it was so funny because he seen me and he stopped the car, and he just paused before he even beat the horn over like that. And when I got in the car, he was like, "Yo, you reminded me of my dad so much." Like as soon as I seen Pop, and it was one of those things that was like, "Oh, like that was sweet." I was I was drunk and high at the time, but I was like, "Oh, like that, like he's seen Grandpa in me. That's dope." But hence talking about this now, yeah, I poured out half the bottle of of his vodka, like half the bottle of his vodka, and I refilled it up with water, like refilled the half up with water. So, needless to say, he was pissed. I mean, rightfully so, rightfully so. I'd be pissed too, fucking pissed. So, of course, he's pissed. He's like, "What the fuck? Who fucked with my alcohol?" And everybody in the course, the women like, well, maybe you shouldn't be drinking alcohol in the first place. Cause blah, blah, blah. Now here's the thing. It goes back to what I was saying before. Where people will be like, well, I wouldn't do that if I was you. That was the same scenario. They didn't understand why he drunk. They didn't ask him why he drunk. They just seen it. They chose to believe that this is not for them. Ironically enough, though, like I said before, my mom used to have like I said, there was bottles of alcohol all over the house. Everybody had their own alcohol that they liked to drink. My grandpa had his liquor, like, but it was covertly placed different places. Like he would, it was kind of like Homer Simpson with his Duff Bear, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That's why when I seen the Duff Bear scene, I wasn't like, oh, that's funny or that's weird or no. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's normal. Like he had a bear in his like sub tank for his bathroom, like in the toilet tank in the bathroom. Like he had a bear there. Like that's how like my grandpa didn't have a bear in our toilet, but like he had bear like placed around the house. It was one like he had a next to his chair. He would have his secret rooms next to the chair in the living room. He would have like his vodka and his other drinks and stuff like that in his bedroom. There was beer in the fridge. Like his friends would come over and bring beer or stuff like that. They would smoke their cigarettes and stuff like that in the living room and drink their beer. It was a great spot until my grandma decided to kick him out the house and say, "No, y'all can't smoke and drink in the house no more." Which was like I I didn't understand as a child, as a youth, as an adult now. Like yeah, that's some bullshit. Because if like we got this house so that we could be comfortable, and now I can't even be comfortable in my house that I'm paying the bills and stuff for. Like the fuck? But just save grace because I'm not going to ruffle the feathers because do I care more about the person I married and created life with and children with more than I care about drinking and smoking in my own place? Of course, I care about my spouse and my children and stuff like that more than my drinking and stuff like that. My drinking and smoking, and my friends. However, I still do want to feel comfortable though. If I can't feel comfortable in my own house, I'm laying in like, what the fuck? That's something that needs to be talked about. But of course, once again, this is not the 44-year-old version of me like doing this. This is the single digits version of me doing this. Or maybe I was like 10. I don't know. Maybe I was like 9 or 10 at the time. But yeah, so can't remember. I think it might have been like a week later, maybe a couple of days later, something like that. Um, we we meaning my grandfather and I were home alone. Unbeknownst to me, I'm just chilling, yada yada yada. Like read. I think I was either reading a book or I was doing a book report during the summer. Because that was another thing. Because of the fact that was flunking and um, I wasn't participating in school and stuff like that academically, when I would, in the summers and stuff like that, I would get put on punishment because I wasn't succeeding in school. The punishment was I got to read books and do book reports. That was my punishment. So my punishment was my greatest joy. Because what do you mean? I get to sit here in my room for hours by myself, no one talking to me, and all I get to do is read books. I get to like live in fantasy lands, like outside of these four walls that I'm living in. I can go to different places, different worlds, different timelines, different realities where there's magic. Some places is not magic. Some places just swords. Like that. Like I loved it. I loved it. It opened me up so much, and it got to the point where I was reading. I started reading more stuff than the punishment required, and I was doing book reports for stuff that the punishment didn't require. To the point where I was giving my mom book reports. She was like, "You're not on punishment." I was like, "Oh, yeah, oh, I mean, okay. Are you gonna read it? No. Oh, okay. I thought it was a good book. So it was fun. So like, I've I got placed. I got uniquely placed in a scenario where, since a child, I gravitated to being a hermit and being in hermit mode. Like, I find it fun to engage and interact with other people, but more times than not, like, those people backstab me, or they, at the time, the way I seen it was they're just going to betray me and leave anyway. Now, with a more enlightened, more walking in gratitude type understanding, I'm like, oh, everybody was just a lesson. Like everything and everybody was a really just a lesson. Honestly, like if not for the lessons of love or the lack of love, the delusions or the lack of delusions, the friendship or the accusations, the I used to call them distractions before, and when I say distractions, that would be the individuals who say or claim that they like me until I don't benefit them the way they wanted me to benefit them, and then they'll start slandering me and saying lies about me. Like, I mean, yeah, we can. I'm not going to jump through all the which cause, but yeah, the me having to go to Roxborough thing, which ends up being a thing where the person who started the thing later on called me and cried about it, and we became friends again, even though the deed was done. The deed was done. I was already removed from school and went to a whole nother school after that, and after they called me and like cried and professed and apologized and stuff like that to me, and now we're still friends, still cool with the person. Or the other person that I was actually close to, that I'm close to now. I'm still friends with. I actually talked to them the other day. Actually, no, they didn't talk. We talked brief, like we talked for like a second. They was doing something. Um, but we talked like last week. We basically we were watching Peaky Blinders together. Actually, um, like when we broke up, she went and told everybody like I did stuff that I didn't do, and like her uncle and one of the friends of the family that wanted to smash her for years, but couldn't because he's married with kids and like that, came to my house and tried to say like, well, if if you were somebody that accosted or essayed one of their children that was in jail, and then it came out of jail and came to the church, like how would you think they would feel? I'm like, I don't know because I never did that. So I can't put myself in their shoes to say that I would know how that feel for anybody. They're like, well, we just don't want you at the church there because what she said to us made yeah made everybody feel comfortable. I was like, okay, but what did I do? Like, what did I do? Did I do anything to her? Did y'all see me do anything to her? Is this just hearsay, speculation? Yeah, but I mean, true, we didn't see that, but I mean, I think it's just be best for everybody. It's not best for me. I was trying to get a spiritual home here, and I even said that. I was like, wouldn't it be more conducive for the church or the church people to embrace that person, this hypothetical person that y'all just created, because he's clearly trying to repent. He lived in jail and served his time, so now he's trying to. I mean, if this case scenario, what y'all saying, and if y'all gonna go to one extreme and saying the harshness of it, we can't go to the other extreme of like the glory of it and saying like he's seen the error of his ways and now he wants to change. Now, regardless of his choice of place to change, is yada yada yada. But at the same time, why would y'all stifle someone else's spiritual growth because of what happened in their past? Isn't that something that's in the Bible that literally says, "Judge not, or yes, at least ye be judged"? And the fact of the matter is, I didn't even do anything in regards of essay anybody, so I don't even know where that whole scenario even came from. Like, but yeah, and even the most recent thing is so many people have so many judgment points of saying, I heard this about Troy. So clearly, because I don't know Troy, this must be true. Like, okay, but you don't know me, so if you don't know me, how can you assume something is true about me if you don't know me? Just like it's so funny. Off the topic of anything like hugely slanderous or like defamatory or like liable or like that. Like it's funny, even when it comes to this podcast, I'll be like, hey, I got a podcast. People are like, I don't really listen to podcasts. You don't know me. So you don't know what my podcast is about. That's literally it's literally like the jokes where people be like, hey, so we got a birthday party for our kids coming up. It's like, oh, I'm busy. You don't know when the birthday party is. Uh, True. When's the birthday party? It's on Tuesday. I'm always busy on Tuesdays. Sorry. Mm, but we switched it from Tuesdays to Wednesday. Fuck. I just figured I was going to go on a trip right after my Tuesday plans. So I was going to go get a flight. I still didn't say the date yet. Oh, when the party is. Oh, you'd have it. And that's literally how it is. It's like I don't it's not even like the conversation even goes that long anymore of being like that. But it's just be like, hey, yeah, I got a podcast. I don't listen to podcasts. You don't know me to know what my podcast is about to say you'll listen to podcasts. I'm not saying I listen to every single podcast out there, but just because of the fact that I'm not gonna go and be like, yeah, the fucking I can't even say a podcast. Oh, we're all crazy podcast, which is by another fellow Gemini, but I'm not going to plug that one. You can look it up if you want, but like I'm not going to say we're all crazy or what we're all mad podcast is the same podcast like what's the one that my friend from what things my mama said or something like that I think it's called or what my mama told me. I gotta listen to that podcast. I haven't listened to that one yet either. But like, I'm I'm not going to compare those two and be like, oh yeah, because podcast is a word that is synonymous between the two of those things. They're exactly the same thing. That's literally judging a podcast by its podcast. I can't even say cover, but like it's like literally like, come on, like if you don't know somebody, you can't assume that you know somebody. You don't know what you don't know. But digress. It got to a point where when in my when we were alone, it got to a point where we was alone. My grandfather and I. Nobody else was in the house. I don't even know where everybody went that day. But nobody was home. I was chilling there, doing like reading or a book report or something like that, and just chilling in my pajamas and shit like that. And then Grandpa called me upstairs. I was downstairs in the living room just chilling, or dining room table probably, because that's usually where I was at. Usually I would sit at the dining room table and just chill, because it was close to the kitchen. I could run and get a water or make a peanut butter jelly sandwich or something like that. So, um, get a call. Call. He yells from upstairs. I come upstairs. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, Grandpa? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He sitting on the bed with a Bible. Now, mind you, like I said earlier, if everybody remembers what I said earlier, go to church, read the Bible, read Edgar Allan Poe, yada yada yada. Read Nostradamus in church while also reading the Bible and Edgar Allan Poe. So I see the Bible, I start sweating, and I'm like, hey, you need me for something? He's like, yeah, I want you to swear on the Bible that you didn't pour my liquor out. Like brain is racing because now every fucking firewall is fucking blowing up in my brain now. It's like, you can't do that. If you put your hand on the Bible, Troy, you're going to have to tell the truth. If you do tell the truth, you're going to be in trouble by your grandfather. If you don't tell the truth, you're going to be in trouble by the devil. Whoa, what am I going to do? Fight, flight, or freeze literally was the mission. That was what was happening. Fight, or freeze. My little tiny ass fucking flew. I flew like the phoenix flies through the cosmos of reality. I flew out that house. He tried to chase me. I think I can't remember if I ripped his shirt trying to get away from him, or yeah, because no, my clothes wasn't ripped. I think he was trying to grab me, and I like pulled away from him. And at the time I pulled away, I pulled at his shirt or something like that, and the shirt ripped or something like that. But I ran out the house barefoot. Won't be the last time I ran out the house barefoot, but that's a whole other topic for another discussion. Uh, but ran out the house barefoot in my pajamas, cut out my stairs, hit the left, like ran across the street. I don't even know if I looked across both ways across the street. Honestly, I almost got hit by a car like a couple of times in my life, but that's neither here nor there. Because I'm still here. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta see Zootopia too. Also, by the way, that reminded me. Um, so even though that was from Sing, actually, that was from the Sing one, but Sing, I think Sing and Zootopia were supposed to be in the same world, even if they weren't connected. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna. So run across the street where the church is at, beeline left towards where like the now block of all the stores and Crown Chickens and yada 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 stuff like that. Head down that way, bust another right around the corner, going towards like where the um our grocery store stuff like that used to be around the corner in our neighborhood. Go all the way down that block, cut the next right on that at the corner of that block, hit the go down the street again, cut the right again, because I'm literally just doing a circle around the block. Get to one of my friend's house. He was one of my younger friends. Because I was either if I was like 10, 9 or 10, he was probably like 6 or 7, or like that. But he had a really he yeah, he had a really hot mom. He had a really hot mom. Really hot mom. He was like he had a really hot mom. Um, and luckily, his really, really, really hot mom was home, and I knocked on the door, and they let me in, and I was just hanging out with her and the kids, her and my friends, until they seen my mom and them walking around because this was now hours later. Hours later. Mom and them got back. They're cursing out my grandpa because I ran away apparently. Well, not apparently. I did run away. Like I ran away. They didn't know where the fuck I was at. I'm a child. Like all because of the fact that he was upset about liquor, rightfully so. Ironically, and also taking accountability. Like he felt so fucked up over that because it was again, do I care about my liquor more than I care about my family? So it put him in a predicament of being like, damn, I do feel like a piece of shit now because I just scared my grandchild, and now I don't know where he's at. He could be in danger, he could be dead, he could be whatever, and now it's my fault because I chose to make a point out of something because of something that I felt triggered by. So when I finally get back home, they're still reaming them out. They're still reaming them out. They're like, I don't care if that liquor and blah 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 blah. They like, and I'm like, oh, I'm not in trouble. Oh, I ran away and I actually had a good time chilling and being, with friends and yada yada yada, and watching cartoons and hanging out. And they're happy to see me. Oh my god, they're actually happy to see me. In my head, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm like, oh my god, they're actually happy that I'm alive. Like they're happy, I'm here. So of course I was like, I'm never telling that story about me pouring out the liquor because then I would just make everybody mad at me again, and everybody will hate me like they usually do and don't care about me. So I kept that to myself until just bringing it up last week and talking about it now. So yeah, yeah, that was one of the precocious stories that I had that I was mentioned last week that I talked about now. But it was funny because when I thought about it recently, it was like, oh wow, like I would have totally handled that completely different. Like first and foremost, I'm making sure our alcohol is on high shelves or locked in the cabinet. First and foremost. Secondly, there's going to be a structured conversation with anybody in my like vicinity, in my residence, to be like, yeah, like partake if you're a legal age to partake alcohol, but at the same time know your limits because as an adult, I'm responsible for myself and my daughter. And when it comes to my daughter, I'm going to make sure I'm being responsible to make sure that she's never ever has to ever touch liquor at a young age ever in her life. Like, period. Henceforth, no, you're not gonna have. I'm not gonna have. It's so funny because I was watching shows like Titus, and I've never been in a situation where I've been like that before. Now, granted, I, me, and one of my exes, we did allow one of her kids to make us a drink before, but it was an experiment. But it would only happen once because it was a horrible drink. But but also, I'm particular about my drinks. Just like everybody particular about the drink. But that was an idea that she had because once again it came from that whole concept of the slave algorithm. Slavery permitted the ideas, the learned traits and behaviors of abuse. And abuse is a learned behavior, and that is something that is the cause of a lot of generational curses. And until a lot of families and a lot of individuals can actually rectify that and actually come to terms with it and understand who they are and understand what that is and understand they're not mutually exclusive, you can actually have something over there being bad and you can be over there being you, and the two don't have to meet. Like, the world's not really going to change. But so far, so good. There's been a lot of people who are acknowledging and seeing the fact that, like, yeah, I don't have to be like my well, A, I don't have to be like my peers, and B, I don't have to be like my family that like raised me. People are like finding their own like way. They're finding their own journey. They're finding their own peace. They're finding their own comfort. And I like it's a beautiful thing. And it was for me and for a lot of people because I've talked to a lot of people about this as well, and a lot of people like really enjoy the concept of it. They just don't know about how to execute it. A lot of people want to have spaces where they can come together and be their authentic selves with other people being their authentic selves. And my church, my place of comfort will be that safe haven for everybody to be that. So it's kind of like thinking me like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I'm running around with that little drummer boy with the blonde hair that was collecting all the Misfit toys. Like that's basically what it is. Um, which also was a fantastic movie. 'Cause yeah, let's be real. Like as a kid, I grew up on like all the Christmas specials during this time. Even though I really wasn't feeling the spirit of it, I still like the cartoons. Like the California Raisins Christmas special movie. Anybody remember the California Raisins? Like they literally went from a commercial ad to literally creating a whole movie franchise with them in claymation cartoon form. Like it was fucking dope. He Man, She-Ra, Captain Planet, Pee Wee Herman. No, you know what? Here's the thing. I want to talk about Paul Heyman real fast because this is why I'm creating this space in the first place because y'all destroyed a beautiful soul. Pee Wee Herman, Paul Heyman was a beautiful soul, and a lot of people don't understand this because a lot of people are just a lot of people are indoctrinated with a lot of different ideas that doesn't make sense at all. Let's go down memory lane. Anybody remember Pee Wee Herman? Everybody remember Paul Herman? Like everybody remember why or how the situation happened of why he was removed from television as Pee Wee Herman and pretty much lost everything that he built with the Pee Wee Herman like brand. So a lot of people nowadays either don't want to remember, don't want to think about, or has no reason to even worry about it right now. Re- People my age and older remember that there were such a thing as adult movie theaters. Porn, and yes, I said porn with a P. This corn thing is so annoying to me. Like it's like corn is something that you eat that stays whole in the kernels of your feces after you finish expelling the waste. That's corn. Corn with a K is an amazing band with a lead singer of Jonathan named Jonathan that makes amazing music. That's corn. Porn with a P is an industry of adults, consenting adults now, thank God. Now, consenting adults now living their best life, making money, and having orgasm. Performative or authentic, regardless. They're enjoying themselves and they're making money. We can talk about the underbelly of the industry, whatever we want. But if you only want to bring up the underbelly of the industry when it comes down to porn, then you are suffering from a delusion of your own making. Because as we clearly seen from all those Nickelodeon behind backstage documentaries and all this other stuff, all the underbelly stuff was also happening in regular Hollywood too. So don't try to pull this act. Oh, it's sex, blah blah blah. They be dragging the people, blah. They was drugging Amanda Bynes too, while she was in all that. We're doing the Amanda Bynes show. So let's not call a spade a spade. If you want to fucking say everything is fucking dark, then everything is fucking dark. But that's the whole problem. Stop just talking about it and make a change about it. Do something to make a change. Do something to make a difference. If you know there's a problem, see something, say something. Better yet, see something, do something about it. Don't just up there be a black hole and be like, oh, well, I'm just going to talk about how that's being blah, blah, blah. But you're not doing anything about it. Do something about it. That's all I'm doing. But honestly, if that's not your journey to do something about it, then keep talking. Do you, boo. I'm not going to tell you to stop. But I know for me, I've been galvanized to do something. So that was always my thing. Like, if any of this resonates with you and understand that the connective weave and the connective tissue of all this is, my life story is one continuing story from birth to living to death to coming back to life to continual living and doing all this amazing, spectacular stuff within it. Yes, there are chapters in my life, but my chapters are not a singularity point where that's only one thing you focus on. Oh, we're only going to focus on chapter 13 of a 56 chapter book. That's it. I feel like that's what people do. Even with the Bible, even with the Bible. Like, you got the whole thing. Oh, I actually hit my accelerator in my car. Even with the whole thing with the concept of the Bible, you have to look at people will go and talk about how God is infallible. God's infallible. God's infallible. God knows it all. God, beginning, the end, the Alpha, Omega, yada yada. This is what people decree in the book, in the Bible. They decree, hey, he's the all knowing, all powerful, like all seeing. He's omnipresent. He knows everything before he said, let there be life, let there be light. He knows everything that was going to happen after that, and he knows how everything's going to end. Even in Revelations, he says, "My people die of lack of knowledge," which I'll get into that later. That's not the whole point of this. However, what I will say this is, it's so funny how so many people put so much criteria on the fact of how their belief in Christianity, Judeo Christianity, you know, God is all powerful, all knowing, everything like that. However, y'all want to blame. It is so funny because I've been thinking about this. I said this for decades. I've been saying this for decades. But like y'all blame the devil for the bad stuff. But God created Samael. God's all knowing. So God knew when he created Samael, he was also going to be creating the light bringer. He was also going to be creating quote unquote Lucifer or Beelzebub or whatever name that you want to call him, the devil, Satan. Like, so y'all gonna blame the tool that he created to orchestrate his test of self? Y'all gonna make the vessel, the tool, the being that he created to run this part of the cog, that run this part of the wheel, and make him out to be the bad person, even though y'all constantly say God knows everything. God is infallible. He doesn't make mistakes. So if he doesn't make mistakes, then why y'all making Satan out to be the villain? Isn't that just God's plan for Satan to test y'all, to tempt y'all, to help y'all understand who you are in the grand scheme of good, evil, and different. Because even when it comes down to the concept of Job, it's funny because the story of Job is a story everybody knows and everybody understands is God had a wager with the devil to prove a point that Job wouldn't forsake him. So let's just take everything I just said because that's the whole point. Everybody wants to take that part of the Bible and be like, yeah, God's infallible. But then when they go to the next chapter or the next thing and being like, God tested Abraham and told him to like kill his son just to see if he was going to do it. And then when he was about to do it, he was like, no, 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 stop, chill, 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 chill. Damn, dude, you go hard in the paint for me, dude. Well done. But there's a ram in the bush right there. You don't gotta kill your son. You don't gotta do that. Like that's kind of fucked up. Like that was on me. I was I just made weed and I was trying weed out for like the first time and I was just trying to see like how crazy I can get y'all to do stuff for me and I was just like, you about to do it. You about to do it. You about to oh shit, you about to do it. Wait, 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 don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's the highest shit I could ever think of, honestly. Like if I got high, if I got stupid high and I had like an ant project and I was like, what these ants gonna do if I tell these ants I'm not gonna give y'all water unless you kill the firstborn. Let's see what they do. How long it's gonna take for they to get thirsty? Like, so getting back to the Job thing. So God made a wager to the devil, a being he created, so to speak, in the Bible's form. He created the devil. The devil came back to him and was like, "Hey, creator that created me, that knows everything and it never makes mistakes and infallible. I'm going to take one of your servants and I'm going to just fuck with them." And he was like, "I mean, why? Because I want to prove to you that you're wrong and they'll forsake you." That's, you know what? Go for it. Go for it. Is I don't got no teeth in the game. I don't care. I but I know he's not. I know he's not. But you can't. I got one rule. You can't kill him. Okay, but can I kill everything else around him? Oh yeah, I don't care about that. Go for it. Yeah, go. Yeah. I mean, so you give me carte blanche. I can kill his wife. I can kill his kids. I can kill his animals. I can kill his flock. Like I could kill his wealth. I can kill everything. I can give him scurvy. I can give him the most worst diseases possible. I just can't kill him. That's all. But I can kill everybody else. Everybody else around. His mom, his dad, his in laws. Like he might enjoy the game. I'll keep the in laws alive, but I'll kill his actual parents and his wife and kids. That's cool. Oh yeah, that's cool. You could do that. Me as God is telling you as the devil, you could do that. I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that. As Christianity God, I'm okay with that. Go for it. Have fun. Because I know I'm right. That is a book in the Bible. That's the Bible. That's the Bible book. That's the Bible book. And the funny thing is, everybody knows that story. Everybody knows that story. And no one bats an eye. No one bats an eye. Everybody be like, oh yeah, Job, his wife, his kids, his wealth, all got taken away. He got sick. He was pariah. People looked at him and was like, damn, God really hate that motherfucker. What did Job do? What did Job do? Because clearly he ruined his life somehow because look, he got nothing. Everybody's away from him. Nobody will help him. All the people that he helped all his life, all the people that he he gave money to, he gave sheep or gave his flock and stuff like that to. The 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 people that was at his wedding, the people that was celebrating the birth of his children. All this, all this. But now he's a beggar in the street with pox and on the verge of death. But they can't. They don't. They're not gonna help him. They just gonna look at him and laugh or tell stories about him or try to kick him when he's down. But then, the wager's over. Guess God was right. Then Job got two folds of everything that he lost. And everybody was like, wow, how did that happen? He had nothing. He had nothing. He was dying. We seen him. He lost everything. How did he get a better wife? How did he get more kids? How did his wealth expand exponentially times what he ever had before? He's on a whole nother stature that we never even assumed that he will ever be able to get to ever. He wasn't even there when he first was there. So all that's to say is I resonate with Job a lot in that story. However, I can see the fable, the lesson in the fable of what they're trying to say. But once again, the Bible was a construct that was created from the Book of the Dead, so I would rather read the Book of the Dead version of the Job story or the actual story, what it was, instead of reading that. Because I mean, can let's just be clear about this real fast. Uh, in the was the language of Arabic? Yeah, the Arabic language at the time of Yeshua's conception and lifetime, there was no J's in that language. There was no J's. J's started to come about after the um, King James version translation was implemented. Basically, I mean, it could have been before that, but became more prominent during that time. And also, we already know about the one of the uh, government officials' son is the muse of the portrait of Jesus with the fair skin and long hair, and he was you know I in the terms of terminology they say homosexual, but it's possible he could have been like pansexual or bisexual. He was also into drugs and alcohol. So the person that y'all all pray to, the portrait of the person y'all pray to, wasn't named Jesus, and he wasn't that person. And actually, he would represent all the people that most Christians nowadays would condemn. The real life versions of anime characters from like My Hero Academia, with the different color hairs and the different quirks, and understanding that they can wear regular everyday clothes like the normal people do, but they enjoy wearing their costumes or they enjoy wearing what feels more comfortable to them and being their true blue quirk filled selves or neurodivergent selves or on the spectrum selves. Because, like I said earlier, if I lived in a anime world or a D&D world, I'm not going to only be a shopkeep owner. I'm not going to work in a cubicle office if there's a possibility I can have a quirk. And if I have a quirk, I'm going to be doing some extraordinary stuff with that quirk. And all a quirk is a talent or a skill or an extraordinary circumstance that allows you to present yourself in a new, unique way that other people can't. So, yeah, let your freak flag fly. Be you. Be authentically you. Be unapologetically you. Be you until your last breath because there is no one else in this reality that can claim to be you. And there's no one that ever will be unless they try to do identity theft. But even if so, that's a claim. That's not you. No one knows you but you. And the only way we will know who you are is by you learning yourself and then presenting yourself to the world. And like I said, you don't gotta follow behind me. You don't gotta. This is what aligns for me. That's what I'm doing. But if you align with it, feel free. Go for it. I'm not gonna charge you a quarter every time you find yourself because you got the idea from me. It's free of charge because I'm not a gatekeeper. I feel like that's the whole thing with this whole indoctrination thing. Like this indoctrination of capitalism and stuff like that here is all about just being a gatekeeper. Like there's so many people that literally be like, will will literally go. And that's why I'm so happy that I'm doing what I'm doing because everything I'm talking about is about me, but I am generalizing it to a point where I'm like, if you feel comfortable with it, you can. But everything is about me. Like I'm personally, purposely saying, this is my journey. I'm grateful that y'all with me on my journey. I'm grateful that this is entertaining for y'all in my journey. But like this is real life and it's messy and it's real and it's not a movie. It's not I don't I don't want to edit myself because life is not supposed to be edited. Life is supposed to be lessons learned and lessons understand and lessons processed. Like that's what life is about. Like I'm not going to act I'm not going to trip, fall and then redo walking down the block again because I don't want people to realize I tripped and fall, like fell. Like I'm gonna get up, dust myself off, and I'm gonna keep moving and be like, you know what? I learned that I tripped there. Why did I trip there? Was it because I wasn't paying attention? Was it a crack in the ground? Was it a, you know what I mean? Are my shoelaces untied? Like, is it a elevated structure of concrete that I didn't notice? Like, I want to learn from those experiences and then move forward. That's the whole point of this. We're pretty much just dead beings. It's something that my friend likes to say, like, change is always going to be a constant. If you don't have change, you have stagnation. You have stagnation, you have death. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every person is a shark, and just because you are a shark, you have to keep swimming. But at the same time, everything is going to have some type of reaction. Every circumstance is going to change the outlook of someone's perspective. However, because so much bullshit is going on with capitalism and the world around us and like that, a lot of people are stuck in fight, flight, or freeze, and a lot of people are frozen. A lot of people don't know what to do. And when I say I don't know what to do, when I don't have a clear outlook on what direction I should or can go, I look within myself. I commune and I meditate and I stay quiet. I I sit in my stillness because I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do, so let me try to figure it out. Let me try to process it. Let me try to understand it. Let me try to learn as much as I can about it. Because by doing that, by giving myself more knowledge, it gives me more power, and giving me more power gives me more comfort and more security to know that even if I do the wrong thing the first time or the first 50 times, I would rather make mistakes and learn from those 50 times of mistake, like making mistakes. So then the 51st time, I'll get it right. And now I'm better for it. Because, like, the whole thing saying, like, millionaires fail millions of times. The person that is poor, they never tried in the first place. They never failed once. They never failed once because they never tried. It takes somebody that's going to be extraordinary, somebody has a can-do attitude, somebody that's tenacious to be like somebody that's stubborn, that's going to be like, no, I'm going to keep going because I want this to work. I want this to be okay, and I want this to to do what it do. And like I said, I have over like, oh god, 120 plus listeners so far now, like downloads and people listening to my podcast. I would have been excited. I would have been elated if I had like one person. I would have been excited if I had like one person. Like if it was like, cause I gotta, when I take the pictures of it, my apps and stuff like that automatically downloads, like, the which call, or at least on my Apple podcast device, it automatically downloads the episode. It doesn't do that for Spotify. It's on other apps. I'm not sure. Like I haven't looked at other apps or like that because I'm mainly focused on like the Spotify and uh the Apple one, as well as I'm still tinkering, figuring out the YouTube algorithm one for my podcast. But like the main ones I mainly focus on is the Spotify and the Apple one. But if I had like one person listen to this like faithfully every week, I would have been excited. I would have been happy. I would have been like, I'm making it. But like the fact of the matter is, out of like the 10 episodes that I have, and it's still growing. I got over like 120 something listens already or downloads already. My heart grew like three sizes, like for real. Like I'm so like gracious and I'm so happy and I can't stop smiling at the fact that like y'all like me, like, and y'all enjoy at least to the entertaining point of saying like whatever reasoning is entertaining to y'all, and y'all come back. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. I really do. Like for whatever reason you're here. And you know what you know and you can't unknow what you don't know. I mean, you can't unknow what you do know, um, unless you get like a horrible brain trauma and forget everything. But hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody, um, unless you really want to forget something that is traumatizing. That's honestly a good reason to have accidental brain trauma to forget stuff, or scar tissue over your brain to make you forget stuff like Wolverine. But yeah, uh it's been an amazing journey and amazing adventure, and I am excited about it because this is just the beginning of it. Um, Not to mention the concepts and ideas of stuff that I want to do in the near and distant future with this podcast. Now, I'm not sure if everybody has been paying attention to everything like I do, but I will mention the possibility of. I love conspiracy theories. I've been saying this a lot lately. I've been watching the David the Company Secrets Declassified show on Hulu, and it's also on History Channel. Um, I also like other conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and of course, the Simpsons conspiracy theory is always one that I enjoy a lot, and one of the theories, prevailing theories that's coming out about the Simpsons is the when the future episode was talking about the Great Blackout in 2026, and how they didn't know where electricity was going to come back and yada yada yada. Just a fun fact though. I am prepared. I mean, granted, it's no way I would be able to use Wi-Fi to get this stuff out because I won't be having any Wi-Fi signals. Possibly, I don't know, but I do have a solar charger. I bought one for me and my last partner, my last companion. I bought them a solar charger as well as a gas mask. I bought myself a gas mask with like air filters and like it's two different kinds. It's the dust and what's called filter, and then it's the chemical filter, for chemical like what's good. And also I have like the padded filters that you can put the padded air filters you can put on the side. So like my face mask is better than the face mask they be having out on like the news for like the ice and like offices and stuff. Is so funny, but yeah, I got that. I just wore my boots. I'm waiting for my gloves to come in so I can wear my winter gloves, and it also has like the fingertip whatever where you can still like use your touch screen and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm coming prepared. Like I'm coming prepared because I don't know. We don't know what we don't know, and we don't know with all the secrets that we are finding out about stuff, like the whole Stranger Things and the Gate program and everything being a real thing, and you can look up the documents on the CIA like website on all the documents that they either classified, declassified, or you know unredacted. It's there. Like take a look. It's in the book, Reading Rainbow, baby. Also, the fact that the ghost from Reading Rainbow was a runaway slave that a lot of people are just figuring out or just finding out, like as if it wasn't in the first episode of Reading, like not Reading Rainbow, Ghost Rider. Like the fact that nobody really paid attention to like the words in the first episode of Ghost Rider of like the fact that he was a runaway slave, and like is hilarious. But regardless, like and the whole fact of this whole runaway slave thing about Reading Rainbow thing about LeVar Burton being Toby and Roots, which is so funny because I know I just went down four different flight of stairs to land here, but like I was cracking up because I was watching The Northman, and I know it had nothing to do with nothing, but like it has everything to do with everything for me because in the long line of cinema, it's been so funny seeing how cultures engage and interact with each other and how the perpetual state of gatekeeping and like plagiarism and blatantly just saying like I'm going to copy your whole test. I'm just going to change the name on top to say it's mine. Like that's was I feel like I feel like the Northman was white Black Panther. Like I feel like the Northman was white Black Panther. I just feel like whoever was the screenwriter for that or whoever put more emphasis on certain like ideas in terms of cultural things, I feel like they was like we just got to make it more about us and what we do because literally it was like somebody watched Black Panther and they tried to do the joke. It was like, well, we just make Black Panther white. Well, we just get Ryan Gosling to be black like T'Challa. Like, cause that's all they kept on saying at some point. When every time they kept on doing the race swaps in Hollywood about with the characters being black or Hispanic or yada yada yada. Which I was like, yeah, it's still yeah. My take on this is this: we know. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me take that back. Not we. I know that all the comic books live in the omniverse. Hell, DC has an omniverse within their multiverse, which is okay. So, like, there's multiple factors of multiple realities where multiple versions of the characters that we know that are perpetually stationed as being white because they was created by white men in a time that it was habitually racist and it was gleefully disrespecting other races, gleefully doing it, gleefully being like white people are amazing and every other race is pieces of shit, and we're going to display this in every medium that we possibly can. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, if that's how the thing was, then yeah, every character that was ever created was going to be white, unless there was a sidekick black character, a sidekick like native character, or a sidekick like Asian character, or whatever like that. Like, so yeah, times have changed. We had a black president. Like, we could have black superheroes. And we know in the multiverses there are different superheroes. There's different pigment or hue color superheroes out there. We have a whole world of a whole black like Justice League, black X-Men, black Avengers, black Spider-Man. Before Miles Morales, there was another black Spider-Man. Hell, Anansi is actually the totem Spider-Man for like everybody who gives all the Spider people their powers. He's black. He's a Orisha. He's a deity. Like, so Shango is the representation of both. I'm not gonna say both Storm and Witchcraft, but like they it's speculation. It's speculated from different people that um Storm represents two of the two of the three Orishas. Um, that I will. I'll talk about that later. But I'll talk about Shango first. So Shango was a representation of what Marvel tried to create for Odin and Thor. That was the archetype for where they got Odin and Thor from. They took it from the Shango thing because the whole Shango archetype, the whole Shango story was he was a hot-headed warrior that was a deity, but after his hubris and his rage got out of hand, and you read the story yourself. Stuff happened. He changed up his MO and decided to be calmer, be wiser, have more patience, maturity, if you will. So, yeah. Uh, so the whole concept when everybody was like, yeah, they changed. What if they changed Black Panther? Because first of all, I was never a fan of Black Panther. I've never been a fan of Black Panther. I love what Black Panther did movie wise for like the culture and everything like that. But like honestly, I always thought I love Ryan Coogler, amazing director, everything like that. I'm saying the movie and the books, the comic books, always felt like white people wanting to have the token black person that was on their side. Because like the whole concept of the movie was still this whole concept of like separation and segregation. Because I mean, point blank, period, he was a king of an African nation that was hiding behind all the technological advances they had. They like Killmonger was right. They could have saved and helped so many different people. And regardless of all the different arguments that so many different black holes have fucking came about to tell me about, which call it, yeah, but you can't do that because black on black violence stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, if you just stick weapons in people's hands that don't have any education, yeah, they are going to kill each other. But that was the whole point of how the end of the movie ended with him having Shuri going in there and having fucking schools built in the inner city to educate those. Whatever we whatever they're getting taught within those walls is what they're getting taught. They don't have to tell everybody what the hell they're teaching. They can be like, oh no, we're going to teach them calculus and yada yada. And while they're teaching them calculus, they can also be teaching them like different gymnastics and yada 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 and defense positioning. Like it's the whole thing that you could have did. But regardless, people think small because they don't know how to think big. because they're indoctrinated by the fact of saying like they're oppressed by this oppressive system that feels like it's never going to be toppled. It's never going, but we know it can be because it's a fragile fucking house of cards. We've seen that during COVID. Everybody before COVID came, everybody was like, it's a luxury to be able to work from home. Only CEOs and those that actually work really good businesses and office work can work from home. It was like, nah, no, it's a whole slew of stuff they could do work from home stuff with. And the fact of the matter is, because we was home all the goddamn time, we had nothing to do but focus on our hobbies. That was the first thing. For COVID was literally the point where everybody can literally just focus on the things that they love and their hobbies and yada yada yada. Sadly, because of how the nature of the world was, the society was, all we did was bitch, moan, and complain because of the fact that we couldn't do the same things that we was used to being accustomed to doing because of capitalism. Going to movies, going out to restaurants, going to different places just to fucking walk around the mall. Old people, like, like, come on, like, we could have been focusing on like, okay, now we had this time to rest, we had this time to recoup, had this time to like just exhale for a second, just be comfortable. But now, since we understand that, since that shakeup happened, because like I said before, and I'll say it again, COVID was spectacular for me. I'm a germaphobe, so being in my house, the comfort of my house, and don't have to worry about going outside, especially when during that time, it was nothing but black people being shot and killed, and POC people being shot and killed all the time by white people, by white cops. Like, and everybody was using crocodile tears to fucking acknowledge the fact that it was happening, but nobody wasn't changing shit. Even though, ironically enough, same premise, COVID was happening. Fucking Trump first term, making it out to be like the Asian sickness thing, and all that um hate on Asian people started happening. And within like what 3 to 6 months, they passed the civil rights bill or human rights bill to protect Asian people. Look it up. I'm not sure if it was 3 to 6 months, but it was quick. It was within like the first couple of cases of a whole bunch of like Asian people being accosted in the streets. Like they passed that bill like it was nothing. And that's why I was telling people when Obama and them was in the office or like that. I was like, y'all gotta understand, money talks, man. Money talks. We can do the whole yes we can thing, yada yada yada, but the people that got the most benefit from the Obama administration in their term of administration was the LGBTQ community. Like they put up a lot of money for the Obamas. They put a lot of money up for the Obamas. Like for whatever reason, I don't know. All I know is follow the money. And the best way to follow the money with politicians is follow the constituents that they're fucking like petitioning for. Like follow the people that they're most adamant about making sure that they are being seen with or they're being seen helping. Because if you follow that stream, that's when you know where the money came from. That's why politics is about money. That's why black people can't get nowhere in politics because black people fucking give their money away. They give their money away to everybody else. Like if you look at how money circulates through all the different communities, black community we don't have circulation the same way that Jewish people have circulation, Asian people have circulation, Italian people have circulation. Like we don't, and it's sad. But that was the rules of the games that they created for us to play if you choose to continue playing those games. I don't want to play those games. I got other games I want other games I want to play. I got TTRPGs I want to play. I got God of War Ragnarok I'm playing. I got a Wolverine game I want to play. Like I got a bunch of games. I got a bunch of video games I want to play. I mean, hell, I wouldn't mind playing Monopoly again or like I never played Shoots and Ladders. I don't think I ever wanted to play Shoots and Ladders. I hear about it all the time. I heard about it as a kid all the time, but I never was like, hey, let me play Shoots and Ladders. But anyway, I digress. Um, yeah, I feel like we've I feel like we did it, everybody. I don't know what we did, but we did something, and we did it together because you're listening to my voice. So thank you. You should pat yourself on the back, commend yourself. I appreciate you. I appreciate myself. So I'm gonna go to the store now and get some provisions for tomorrow because tomorrow is Christmas. We almost out of 2025. Like, I hope it was everything that you always hoped and dreamed it was would have been, and I hope that you continue on that trajectory of amazing adventures in 2026. I know I will, because I am pitting my work to my faith and my faith in my works, and it's paying off like gangbusters. Like I said, anybody who's interested, all my all my social, like I'm not so, all my social stuff is throughout, spread out throughout the my podcast is I'll say them again. My basically just look up Troyiverse on every like social media and you'll probably find me. Realistically, if it's not a picture of my podcast, it's probably a picture of this sign I seen in Seattle that had my name Troy on it. Um, or I think that's it. Or maybe the TARDIS. It's a uh dark and blue TARDIS with like red lights coming from the interior, but it's in a backdrop of like a black like location type thing. It's a dope picture of the TARDIS. That might be my profile or some of it. But yeah, just look up Troyverse on anything that you are familiar with. Of course, you know, play responsibly. Like, don't go to X and be on like, I want to go to X and I know porn's on X, but I'm just trying to see what Troy talk about on X. If you know porn's on X, then porn is what I'm talking about on X. Like that's what it is. As it if porn is a viable location or viable and comfortable to be in that location, then I'm going to be talking about porn in that location. If it's not, like if it's like Facebook, I'm not going to put porn on Facebook because you can't put porn on Facebook. I tried, but but like so yeah, like so go where you're comfortable with. But if you're going to look for something, you're going to find it because I'm not hiding it. Like point blank period. I'm me wherever I am comfortable being me at, and I'm comfortable being me everywhere I'm at because I exist, and that's all that matters to me. As long as I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. If you're not comfortable with me being comfortable, then you can go somewhere else because wherever I'm standing at, that's where I'm going to be comfortable at. So you do you, boo, and I'm do me. Because it's so funny. Everybody wants to tell everybody what to do, except for me. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. But no one wants to be told what to do. Everybody wants to tell people you need to do this, you should do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, when you tell them that, like, why are you telling me what to do? Why do you feel like you tell somebody else what to do and not feel like you can be told what to do yourself? So once again, hence my point. Everything I'm saying aligns with me. If you find comfort and peace with the things that I align with, feel free to also align with those things that you resonate with. And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I love that saying so much, and it's so funny how many women hate that I know that I'm saying, and I say it to them all the time. So funny. I actually do want to talk about women and why, as much as I'm like, I don't like hanging around men. I also don't like hanging around women either. That's why I'm like I'm a hermit and I just like being alone. I'm going to touch on this briefly. I'm on Facebook dating. I've mentioned this before. The one of the funniest things that I think I've noticed in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the relationships of women and men, um, I'm not sure where I want to start off first. I'm not sure what I want to start off first. There's so much stuff. It's hilarious. Okay, you know what? I want to start this first. I want to start this first because I'd rather say this first before saying all the other stuff, and then say the other stuff, and then say that last, and then everybody miss out the point of that. The first thing I want to say first is this: if you are a woman, if you're a woman, and you appreciate my content, first and foremost, let me say this: I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, if you're a man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much too as well. Not condescending, being honest. I appreciate everybody. All the the genders and the non-genders, everybody. I appreciate everybody. If you're an individual, if you exist, if you're breathing, if you can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, then I appreciate you. So, but if you're listening to me and you're cool with me, if you listen to me and you know somebody that would be cool with me, but they are usually the type of individual that are like, I hate all men, or I don't want to hear a man talk because men are blah blah blah. Men give me the ick, yada yada yada. If you know individual like that, if you know women like that, and if those women also are practitioners of the spiritual, Wiccan, witchy type of stuff, if they believe in reincarnation, they believe in spirituality, they believe in, the substance of Gaia and Mother Earth and all that encompass Lilith and the concept of like the first women and, yada, yada, yada. If you know individuals like that and understand it and also are into reincarnation and stuff like that, I'm going to say this. Ask them a simple question. And I want to, please engage with me and let me know what their answer is. But I want you to ask them, do they believe that when you reincarnate, you only reincarnate as one gender? Like if you are a woman, you only reincarnate as another woman all your lifetimes, like every single lifetime, you're just only a one gender. You're just a woman. Because I know a lot of individuals that are trans or transsexuals or trans beings, and they will genuinely say, no, 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 no. I was born in this body, but I identify as the opposite gender or opposite sex because they resonate with who they are in their soul and not just by the physical representation of who they are. Actually, it's interesting. It was God of War Ragnarok. Actually, I just got past that part with Brock where they was talking about that. And it was like, it's not the shape of things; it's what it is. Yeah, it's not the shape of things it's not the shape of the vessel. It's what the vessel. It was what it means, type thing. I butchered that line, but if you know, you know. But because my thing is this: every witchy individual that are film or claim to be film that always want to say I hate men and I want to, this is only for women, blah blah. Like, you you do realize that if you believe in reincarnation, this reincarnation of this man that you're hating on is only in the reincarnation of being a man so they can learn a lesson. The same lessons y'all learned or learning that got y'all to this reincarnation where y'all can be where y'all at now. Because there's steps to this stuff. Every reincarnation leaves residue of the previous or the future into this present concept of who we are now. Because we're all connected. So every time you're like, I hate all men, you're only just pointing a finger at one of your own reincarnations that are male and saying, I hate me. I hate me. I hate me. This is not about me. This is about me. That's literally all you're doing. So funny. In my alignment, of course. But once again, if you believe in reincarnations, if you believe one all are one, then what are you doing? Because it should be about all of us as a whole building each other up instead of it being a singular thing of I'm only going to rep for this one gender. Because how are we supposed to grow as a society, as people, as humanity, as a race, if we're trying to divide each other up to say this is like honestly, I really do feel like these are like bots that started this whole thing because separation is always going to be key for the powers to be because there are only a few of those people on the top that claim to be powerful while there's billions of us who can collaborate and become stronger than the few and overthrow them. But y'all want to keep up borders and talk about bears and men or the differences between Venus and Mars. And I'm like, okay, but we all still live in this solar system and we all breathe the same air. So why are we all fighting each other? Hence my point. Next project is going to be Project No More Borders. Because I know too many people from too many different walks of life to keep having these ridiculous social media gatekeepers do this perpetual need to try to gatekeep and also try to segregate everybody else is saying like men can't have this, women can't have this, red pill this, men are trash that. Like if you don't like dudes, don't like dudes. But like, who are you benefiting? Who are you helping for real, by telling everybody else not to help, like not to like other people? Like for real, like how is that helping anything? Is it helping you get more money? Because if it is, then that's weird. That's weird. Because I mean, there's enough money for everybody to like, still love each other and still make money. Like you don't have to like put up borders and like tell impressionable young boys and impressionable young girls to hate on the opposite sex because they don't understand you. Guess what? Nobody understands each other. We are trying to figure this shit out. And yeah, kudos to those who figure more shit out than others that can stay together and stuff like that and have a beautiful, loving, like friendship, relationship, companionship, whatever you want to call it. But like for all those lost and all those looking for some type of like connection and stuff like that, don't listen to these weirdos talking about hate to other people. Like, because the other people don't know what the hell they're talking about either. Nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's just trying to find comfort and peace of mind. Everybody's just trying to find that piece of land where they can feel safe, where they can find either solitude or a group of people that they can just be weird. Like a whole, like, listen, if you watch Garden State, Zach Braff and Natalie Portman, Meth Man was in that too for a very brief but very interesting scene. Um, but like, great movie. But the scene where Zaf and her was in her room and she was just like, sometimes I'm being in my space and I just do weird shit because nobody else in this reality is going to do the same weird shit that I'm doing, and I feel unique. I feel special doing that, and I feel comfortable sharing that with you. That was the whole scene, and it was such a beautiful scene, and it was so cool because the whole movie was just showing this person who was so misdiagnosed by his father, misdiagnosed by his friends, misunderstood by everybody. He was drugged perpetually because he made a mistake as a child until he realized he shouldn't he made a choice to say he shouldn't be on drugs no more. He want to live, he want to feel, and he found a connection with somebody that if not for a tragic situation, he would never have met. He never would have found himself. I need to watch Garden State again. Jesus, that was a good movie. That was a really, really good movie. Man. Yeah. Sorry. Digress. Garden State was really, really, really fantastic. But yeah. Sorry, I started this off talking about the Northman, but um, the, going off of the whole thing of like reincarnation and with women stuff like that, and the whole thing with the Facebook dating thing, it was so funny because I'm not trying to date. I keep saying this, and regardless of what people hear or not, people hear what they want. But I'm not dating. I'm looking for friends. I'm looking for friendship. I'm looking for a deep friendship connection. If something were to blossom from that because we both feel comfortable or we all feel comfortable, cool, 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 cool. But that's not my intention is just friendship because I don't got time or space right now for any people's idea or ideations about romance or yada yada yada. I just want to have somebody to watch TV with and read books with and ponder the omniverse and scientific properties and stuff like that with. That's what I want. Like I feel like I'm in my cootie stage. Like I feel like I'm in my cootie stage. I feel like because time's a construct. I feel like I never had a cootie stage when I was like a child because clearly, like I was 5 and I had 2 girlfriends, and I stayed in that vein of having girlfriends until I just either was on a drought or just now where I'm choosing just not to have a girlfriend or another significant partner like that. So like I never had a cootie stage. I feel like I had my cootie stage or germ stage happened in my 20s, and now I'm in like my full blown cootie stage where I'm like I don't want to touch nobody. I don't want nobody to touch me. I don't want I want only touch I want. I just want a back massage. I want a back and neck massage. So the GI Joe comedy spoof jokes popped in my head. Body massage. But sorry. You off my train of thought completely. Um yeah, like I just want to for that I could just go to a professional masseuse. So it's one of those things like yeah, I could cook for myself, I could clean for myself. It's just the connection of being able to talk about different shows that I want to watch because I don't watch every show with every person I know. Like if I watch like one of the people I watch Peaky Blinders with, I can watch Peaky Blinders with her. I can watch it was um a series on Netflix called The Bodyguard with what's his name from Game of Thrones? The one that I want to say the one that died from the Red Wedding. He was like the main lead, and that fucking show was incredible. He was a bodyguard for like a politician, a female politician in Britain, and they got into an affair. They had an affair, a love affair. Oh, it was such a good. It was so good. It was so good. But anyway, um, so but like speaking about the Facebook dating, I'm on Facebook dating, and on Facebook dating, I got on there like out like friendship because you can dating, friendship, long term relationship, long term going into short term relationship, yada yada yada. Chatting, casual, yada yada. So I'm like friendship, but of course my understanding of friendship, my determination of friendship also does mean lifelong relationship because all friendships are relationships sometimes without sex, sometimes with sex. That's just all. Hence why I say I want friends, platonic friends and non-platonic friends. My non-platonic friends are the ones that me and them feel comfortable having sex with each other. But everybody is going to be my friend until the person who finds me completely alluring and has the gumption to approach me and say something to me and say, "Yeah, I want you, Troy." Like I'm not stepping to nobody. I'm just trying to be friends with people. I don't even want. I don't want her. I don't want her bits to touch. I don't want her privates to touch. As childish as that sound, I don't want. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. That's the farthest things from my mind right now. Like, I'm good. I'd rather just. You know what? I'd rather buy a flashlight. I'd rather. Oh, sweet. I'd rather buy a flashlight and just hang out with my flashlights and get a sex doll and hang out with. I'll be Laura. Laura. What's the movie name? Lars and a real girl. Yeah, Lars and a real girl. Yeah, Lars, Lars and a real girl. It was with that. It was ironic. Yeah. Which call it from the Notebook. So like yeah, he that was a great movie as well too. Like he was just trying to find connection and he couldn't find comfort with anybody else that was the normal transition of relationships, and he actually found a sex style that he was like he felt comfortable with, and he bought it and he treated her like it was his girlfriend and made dinner and stuff like that. People thought it was weird at first, and then people just started fucking with it. Like, yeah, just let him be happy. He's happy. Let him be happy. Even if it's weird to you, even if it's not normal for you, that's normal for him. Let him be happy. So anyway, um, so for me, like seeing like or that I'm like, all right, I'm going in there for friendship. That's it. And I purposely make sure I swipe for everybody who has friendship on their profile. And the funny thing is, with all this, a lot of the women, not all, a lot, because I've been finding some really lovely, phenomenal women who are literally like, I don't, I'm not, I'm just asking you to be you and be honest. And that's literally all they ask for in their profile from the person that they're going to engage with. Just be honest and be real. Like that, like this, you know what I mean? The majority, though, of what I see is so hypocritical. It is so funny because it's basically the same thing I've been hearing my whole life from like a lot of different women that I've come across. And it's always I need you to accept me 100% of who I am. Who I am is who I am, and that's not going to change unless I change it. And that's like, okay, cool, fair. I want you to be you. That's totally fine. But then in the same breath, they'll be like, but you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't be this. You can't be that. You can't. It's like, wait, so you want me to accept you, flaws and all, but I can't be me? I can't be anything fully human. I have to be some type of transplant space that fits into your world, and that's only how you see it. I fit into your world. You don't fit into my world. I'm an accessory to you. Because even it's so funny. Case in point, the show I Love LA. The show I Love LA is a phenomenal show. I love that show so much. The season in LA already went off, and then like I want to watch. I want to rewatch the whole series again. But I'm not going to spoil it. But like the whole trajectory of it, the show, you can see where it was going with the main character and her boyfriend. However, the way it's presented is honestly, you can see both sides of it. You can like I see both sides of it. I can understand both sides of it, but at the same time, it's not about seeing the sides of it. It's about understanding and listening to what the people are both saying. And the problem about what one of the people was saying in that scenario was completely being ignored by the other partner in the scenario. I'll let you watch the show if you choose to watch the show to see what I'm talking about. But the fact of the matter is, it was just like such a hypocritical outlook on life because it's always going to be a lack in that relationship if all you want to do is shine, but all you want to do is tell somebody how much they can shine. Because that's the problem. Like, I want everybody to shine. I want to shine as bright as I can shine, and I want everybody else to shine as bright as they can shine. I'm not going to say, oh, because I want to shine as bright as I want to shine, y'all got to shine dimmer than me. No, fuck that. That's ridiculous. Like, shine your little shine off. Like, shine bright, little diamond. Like, go for it. Like, be you. But I'm not going like I I I literally look at these profiles and I'm just like, do y'all realize what you saying? Like, you realize what you asking for? Like, cause no, okay. Case in point, you got you have so many women on here, on those dating sites, which was good. I'm there looking for a friend, so it's interesting reading these profiles. But like reading the profiles, they be like, if you come in here looking for sex, keep going. I want a real man. And it's like, okay, let's break this down real quick. Let's break this down. For years, women been saying the same thing for years. All men want is sex. All men want is sex. All men want is sex. Even though, regardless of column A having truth to it, because yes, men enjoy sex, doesn't mean that's all men want. Because it's been proven and shown through many cases how men are literally in marriages where they're not getting any sex whatsoever. They're not getting no buns, none. I mean, hell, we already know from the concept of like how much the average man gets sex is like 4 to 6 partners or like that in a lifetime, like which is yeah, I'm not going to speak on how many people I've had, but I just way more than that. So I, I the fact of the matter is, regardless of what men want, men aren't getting what they want, but they're still around. They're still doing stuff. They're still like I was saying earlier with my grandpa's story. He's still paying the bills in his house. He's working. He made this house into the home it's here because of both of the due diligence of him paying the bills and my grandma doing all the fundamental home like making stuff. So like it was a team effort. But it's so funny because nowadays there's no team because there's no effort to create a team um between the sexes, but it still doesn't make sense. Why it doesn't make sense? Because here's my problem. So when women be like, I got my own house, I got my own car, I got my own, yada yada, and I want my man to have the whole same thing. Okay, that's cool, and I understand that. I get that. However, women also have the tendency to, when they find the person they want to be with, either 2 to 3 things happen, and I'm saying three because I'm stretching it, but 2 to 3 things happen. Either one, they're going to try to move into your house. The either the woman's going to try to move into the male's house because the fact that they're like, okay, you got a house, I'm moving in now because everything's cool, or they work that women have their own house and they're like, I don't want to leave my house because I picked this house and this is my house and I this is what I want to live and feel comfortable in. Fair, but fair. Or third one, they'll say, hey, let's get another house. Let's get a house together. We can get thing yada yada yada. So here's the thing about that. If a guy feels pretty much the same way in a regard, if a guy gets his own house, he's not going to want to move to another house because he bought the house he wanted. Uh, More than likely, if he finds a woman who has her own house, he probably not going to want to move in her house either. He's probably going to be like, I mean, he might be okay with it. He might be comfortable. He might be, you know what I mean? But like, he might, you know what I mean? Might not want to move into her house. And third, like, he might want to get another house or a bigger house so both y'all can yada yada yada. But like, realistically, he might not because he know how much money it costs and how much time and effort costs to put into the whole fucking his first place that he had to get with like that. One thing I always found funny because when you look at the different opposite sides of dating and stuff like that, like a lot of people have different types of concepts of understanding of different relationship types and stuff like that. A lot of people think it's about power, yada yada yada. Some people it is about power. I'm not I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm gonna talk about myself. Um I've always seen the fact of one person being wealthier than the other person as the most logical idea of what to do. Only because if you are more financially stable, you can help those that aren't financially stable get to your level instead of now trying to literally think that everybody is going to be a Beyonce to the Jay Z or Jay Z to your Beyonce and come in with a mega fortune and y'all can come in and combine your mega fortune into a mega fortune and yada yada yada. A lot of people don't want to have five houses. A lot of people just want to have one house. And a lot of people just want to have like a plain Jane, white picket fence, ordinary vanilla life type thing. So when it comes down to it, I never understood when women was like, I want a dude to be on my level. Because realistically, if you are that much of a boss, like, do you want to share your boss title with somebody, or do you want to like continue building an empire because you know where you plan to go with your trajectory? Because most times, more times than not, when it comes down to people coming together, usually somebody got to throw away their shit. Usually somebody got to throw away their shit because, or they got to put their shit in storage. Because if you got a house, I got a house, we filled our respective houses with the stuff that we want in our houses, which means our houses are filled with us. Now we're gonna combine us together, which means we will need a bigger house, or half of our half of respectively our stuff equally have to be thrown away or put in the storage. But half the time that's not even the case. Half the time, usually it's the dude that got to throw away his shit. So my thing, logically, it's always been a thing for me. It's like I never understood why wealthy women, especially nowadays, wealthy women, don't try to step into the full totality of the man role of structured societies standards because I don't think the label of being a man role is being a CEO or something like that. Just how people say that it is nowadays, which is weird. But anyway, because it's a job. Jobs don't have genders. Now, don't get me wrong, certain genders do pick certain jobs. However, that's a whole other topic of discussion. But when it comes down to it, the fact of the matter is, it was like most dudes, and this is so funny about it because this is the funny thing where I was saying about it. Women clown dudes that like stay with their mom. Most times, it's usually white America and black America that does that. In other societies, other cultures, the dudes, the children, whatever, they stay with their family even after getting married and having kids. They stay at the same house with their family. Actually, it's more beneficial that way because usually when you have children, little tiny children, those little tiny children helps the elderly starve off dementia. They actually don't have to worry about dementia and stuff like that. because the fact that they're constantly being activated by the child's youthful presence, and they was like, oh yeah, that child moved. Oh yeah, I gotta stay present to keep this child safe. That's that's it's literally science. It's neuroscience. It's been a proven scientific fact that children actually help elderly actually stay more cognizant or more cognate. So yeah, but in this society of these bots and these strange individuals trying to perpetuate something, some idea about something, and be like, oh yeah, no, you gotta have this and gotta have that. Even though we know we live in a society and economy where people are complaining about the prices of eggs, but we're supposed to have a house and a car and a Maybach and a $30,000 savings account and yada yada. But y'all complain about eggs going to $6.75. Y'all gotta make it make sense for me, y'all. Y'all gotta make it make sense. Honestly, I don't understand. So I always find it funny though. Like even though if I don't understand it, I still find it humorous. Because I'm like, wouldn't the perfect dude be the dude who lives with his mom or lives with his dad? You know what I mean? If it's like he only has like a little bit of stuff, he has like because only thing he can really fit is in one room. All of his stuff in one room. So like that little bit of stuff, you don't have to worry about him throwing it out because realistically, you put him on, he gonna buy new shit. So he not even gonna need the old shit he got because he stepping up. He's up leveling. He's being helped. Because as we all know, this society has a thing about fucking over black men. Fucking over black women too. But definitely fucking over black men. You could definitely see more women of color get into high business society and high educational society more so than black males do. And I'm not saying it's not black males' fault for not pursuing different educational backgrounds and stuff like that. However, you never know their story and never know why they chose to stop choosing the academic criteria that they ran from. You never know. And you never know how smart somebody is just because of the fact that their academic transcript shows that they had F, C's, and D's and shit in their fucking transcript because they could have just not been motivated enough to stay on the fucking president's list or the dean's list when they became old enough to go to college. Ta-da! So you never know anybody by their fucking cover. You never know anybody by their story. You never know anybody by their chapter. But you gotta understand that a life story is incomplete until the person has their last breath. Unlike me and some other few people who can have their last breath and then have a new breath given to them and live a whole new secondary life. But anyway, that's just me talking about my stuff. But yeah, this is why I'm like, I just want to give y'all these messages, and I just want to go off in the woods somewhere and just like not have to worry about people ever again. Just hang out with the one person that is my mini me, and meet people, meet my tribe, like meet my family and stuff like that. Like have them have a place where they can come together. It's like the story that I said before when I was well, I said to other people I didn't say. I don't think I said it on this podcast. Like one night we it was a bar club area that was around um Chinatown in Center City in Philadelphia. It's a it was a theater venue that was also a bar venue, yada yada yada. Like I went there one night and drunk as fuck. I was drinking Four Locos that night. This is during the Four Locos days, the original recipe Four Locos, not the watered down bullshit that they got they had out. But yeah, like I was a people like joiner, if you will. Like I was run, I was drunk, I was happy. I met up with somebody, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Troy." Blah blah blah. I took that one random person I just met, literally 30 seconds prior, and then took them over to a group of people I never even met, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Troy, and this is I'm gonna say Bob." Like, and this is Bob, and oh my god, like we should all be friends. And then I literally walked away. Literally walked away. And as I was walking away, all I heard was Bob and them being like, "You know him?" And Bob was like, "No, I just met him like over there a second ago." They was like, "Oh my god!" And just started laughing. It was like, I know that was so random. And they became friends off of just the randomness of me just introducing them as if I knew Bob forever. So funny. I don't even know what happened to Bob and those people because I went off with my other friends and end up. Never mind. I'm not going to tell that story yet. That's the story for another time. But yeah, it was just I. That's what I want to do. I just want to bring all the misfit toys together so they can like collaborate and meet each other and enjoy each other's art and each other's company and not be alone anymore. And then I could just go off to be alone and just get it. And then you know when I end up eventually pass on, transition, then Lily will have a whole found family that I helped create and stuff like that. And everybody is going to treat her cool because she'll have an actual like community surrounding her to actually make sure that she's okay when I'm gone. She won't have to be alone. So yeah, that's it. But for me, I'm just like, yeah, just I'll 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 just live in the forest. I'll get my dog. Me and my dog will live in the forest. Of course, this is gonna be like after like the Lily's like an adult and like grown and she can. I taught her everything I know and yada yada yada, and she's cool. But she also will be cool with the family that I created and the church I created, so she'll always be cool. But yeah, you just go in the woods and I can do my podcast and write my books in solitude and quiet and look for truffles. Sorry, I need to watch Big again, even though I watched it like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so that's it. I thank you again for listening, and hope you enjoyed everything. And I look forward to talking to y'all. Jeez, I guess yeah. I guess the next time you hear me, it would be New Year's Day after this uh podcast. Because no wait, because yeah, because next one's Christmas. This will be the this will be the Christmas one technically. So yeah, Merry Christmas to y'all. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, yada yada yada. I said that the last episode, episode 10 too, but yeah, episode 10 is gonna go into the Christmas one. This will be aired the 2 days before New Year's. So yeah, Happy New Year's to everybody. So yeah, the next one, episode 12, would be end to the New Year. Like yeah, wow, okay. So yeah, Happy New Year's everybody, and I hope y'all Christmas is okay. Even though I'm 2 days before my Christmas will happen, and I hope y'all enjoyed yourself and had a good time and got everything that y'all wanted. And I hope if y'all didn't, y'all have the receipts or at least the gift cards to send them back. Oh no. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Don't drink too much eggnog, everybody, or drink as much as you want. It's up to you. And yeah, signing off. Y'all have a great one. I guess see you next year. This has been a Troyiverse production.